What is going on? Welcome back to another edition. I'm Mike, and if you're brand new to this channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm certainly going to bring more content throughout the remainder of this year, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And in today's review, I'm talking about a British comedy called Off the Rails. A lot of people may have not have heard of this movie, and I've certainly seen no advertisement for this whatsoever. And I was very intrigued because usually I like movies that you don't see maybe a trailer for, or you don't know a lot around it, because I like that kind of element of surprise. And the fact that it was a British comedy as well, I was like, awesome. I really love the fact that that was the case, because I always love supporting a British movie as well. So essentially this movie itself is actually directed by Jules Williamson, and it's actually written by Jordan Weller. Now that's interesting because Jordan Weller is actually the current actor himself, and lately he's been in The Darkest Hour, and that's the only kind of role that I know him from. But this movie is also Kelly Preston's last ever film credit. So that itself is pretty cool, that this is the actual last film that she starred in, and I actually got a chance to see that as well. Now it also stars Jenny Seagrove, and of course she's actually currently partners with Bill Kenwright, who helped produce this movie. And we also get an introduction from a brand new actress called Elizabeth Dormer-Phillips, who plays Maddie. So essentially the plot of this movie is around three friends in their 50s going on a European travels with their friend's daughter, because their friend had passed away and they're all part of this kind of group as they were younger. The friend's last time wish was to take her daughter with them friends on a European journey to go see these special once-a-year lights in Palma. I like the simplicity of the plot of that, because I'm a really sucker for kind of adventure-style movies. So what are my thoughts of Off the Rails? Firstly, let's get into my positives. I really like the fact that Jordan Weller wrote this movie, because again, he is a current actor right now, so his kind of experiences on those multiple different sets, I really felt like he brought some of that exposure into this film, and I can actually really appreciate at least he kind of stepped out of his comfort zone to do kind of more writing and get into more behind the scenes stuff as well. And I really appreciate that, because we've seen in recent years, especially say like Jordan Peele, who's gone from kind of one genre to absolutely nailing it in horror, and of course experimenting with different styles. And if anyone can kind of get that opportunity, I've got high praise for that, because that is just showing their creative side, and I can honestly sincerely respect that. The chemistry between our leads, whether it's Jenny Seagrove, Kelly Preston, Elizabeth Dormer-Phillips or Sally, is awesome. They honestly really have great chemistry, especially as three of them are kind of like based in their 50s, at least in this movie. And of course Elizabeth Dormer-Phillips is this kind of only young teen in the movie. I think she's around 18, 19 in the movie. And I really like the chemistry throughout their performances, because it really does show on screen, and you can really feel that vibe, almost as if they're really best friends. And especially with this young actress as well, Elizabeth Dormer-Phillips, I believe in a kind of main first ever film role, she knocks it out of the park as Maddie. I really think she is a fantastic entry into this movie, because I genuinely believe that she was a standout in this, despite maybe not having the full attention of the screen. And of course that kind of mainly focuses on Kelly Preston and Jenny Seagrove, which of course, you know, bigger actresses, you know, so it's kind of understandable as to why. But for the scenes that we do get with Elizabeth Dormer-Phillips, yeah, fantastic as Maddie, and I really can't wait to see what she's going to bring to the screen next and what future projects she's going to believe in, because I really do feel like she has a bright future ahead of her. And what I also got to give props to in this movie is the fact of its location settings, because I really felt like they utilised the settings a lot, because throughout this movie we go to France, we go to Italy, Spain. At the end of the day, the UK isn't focused on as much, but there's an understanding why, because obviously this plot centres around them travelling to Europe, because all of our four characters in this movie have hiking backpacks on them, and I've done a lot of camping myself, so I kind of know what that feels like. And also I've travelled around America with a kind of rucksack on my back, and I really got that sense and feelings definitely resonating throughout this movie, and it kind of gave me kind of chills as such, going back to a couple of years ago to when I actually experienced that memory, and that is a very fond time for me. And I really felt like that memory as such was really captivating on that screen. I really felt like as if I was there hiking with these ladies, and the locations used in this movie, awesome. I felt like they were really utilised quite a lot, and especially some of the scenic cinematography shots that we get. I really can praise that side, and we definitely get some kind of like wide shots as well, which I really appreciate, and I definitely am a big fan of that in movies in general. So let's go into my kind of negatives of this movie. So for me, where this film kind of let me down with our characters, so of course the three main women who are in their 50s going on this European tour because of their friend's passing. Their friend's passing does get touched on in this movie at certain points, but it kind of almost felt as if it was kind of brought back up again as a reminder, kind of like treating the audience a little bit as they're dumb, or the fact that it was kind of put in there to make you just be like, oh yeah, do you remember that this is actually the premise of it, and not just these friends traveling for the sake of it? Because we do soon learn about these three characters. They're kind of a little bit of backstories and why they're going on this trip and helping their friend and doing what they promised to their friend. But I ultimately felt like with this kind of message that they were trying to relay overall, I didn't feel as if it came across as strong enough as it could have. Because the main woman, Anna, in this movie, who does pass away, who we see right at the beginning, we kind of get no backstory about her or how she died at all. And it was just really a shame because it didn't really kind of connect me as an audience member to why she passed and why these friends had really cared so much to fulfill her last promise. We didn't even really get a flashback of that. We saw a photograph, which of course kind of certainly helps and kind of embeds that image into our minds as to, right, okay, this is why this is happening. But ultimately, I just felt like there was kind of a lacking in the backstory part of things. Because at times, I really felt like this film was dragging itself out a little bit, unfortunately. I felt as if it could have definitely kind of chopped 10 or 15 minutes off the runtime, or if they were going to keep the runtime, because it's not really a big issue in terms of the overall how long this movie is. But I just felt like the story could have been a bit more captivating for the time that this film played out. And I also feel like the biggest gripe that I've kind of got with this movie is Judy Dench actually stars in this movie as the mother of Anna, who obviously passed away. And Judy Dench is wasted in this movie. Now, Judy Dench is obviously a big, well-known actress. She's in this movie for kind of one scene right at the beginning with a funeral. And after that, she's not in this movie at all. She's just never shown ever again. She's shown in one little flashback of the same scene that she was in on a funeral earlier on in the movie. Why did it not have her more or utilise her a lot more? So overall, what I will say about Off the Rails is there were certainly times where this movie certainly got emotional, and I could certainly feel that sense of like adventure or kind of wanting to capitalise on like the moment and making the most of your life. Yeah, absolutely can relate with that, and certainly a relatable message to a lot of people or whoever checks out this movie. I think it kind of fails to capitalise on some of the key points that could have made this as a really solid featurette, and a one to certainly want to revisit time and time again. But for me, I would certainly kind of revisit it, but I'm definitely not in any urgent rush to do that. So with that in mind, my final score for Off the Rails is... So yeah, I hope you all really enjoyed this review. So if you like this review, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And until the next time you see me, this has been the Z Review, and I'll be Zing you later.